Alright, I think this is the first backside flip skateboard we've had in a very, very long time. But right now it looks like you're showing us your basics, and boom, you just crushed Skateboarding Made Simple, Volume 1. That is good. So you have all your basics down, and boom, another kickflip, that's good. Pretty good. And alright, so you got your kickflips down pretty consistently as I can see. From what I can tell, you have no problem doing a kickflip. Oh yeah, see, you got it down. Boom. Let's see. Another kickflip. Okay. One thing I would say is that for a backside flip, you're heavily relying on a really popped kickflip, and if you do kickflips without popping it, it might be a little difficult. Like you're popping it, but you might want to start practicing like leveling out your kickflips a little bit and getting them a little higher, because that's just going to make it easier in the long run to do backside flips. So let's check out these attempts real quick. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that one was really close. That one too. Okay, so you're pretty close. I think there's a couple of things you have to work on. Those are all really close. Okay, so I think this is the closest one. So boom, you get a good pop, you get a good flick, and your board starts turning. Oh my gosh, that rotation was perfect. You just got to commit to that one. That was almost it. And you get a good pop, good flick. The only thing is that I can't see your shoulders right now, but from what I can tell, you're turning your shoulders. Oh, man, that was like a backside. That was like a backside 120 flip. Okay, so I think honestly, the thing I think you need work with is not the flick or the 180 rotation, because it looks like you actually have that pretty consistently. The thing I would recommend you do is just practice committing a little bit. It looks like when you do your trick, when you try your backside flip, you're kind of just you're flicking it and then you're just letting it go, and then you're putting your feet down on the ground really quickly. And that's what I noticed on all your attempts, except for the ones that you got really close to landing. You kind of like flick it and then your feet automatically go back to the board. I mean, to the floor. So what I would recommend is that you just give it a couple tries. I would try it stationary if I were you. Backside flips are a really weird trick when you're learning them, especially since one, you can't see where you're going, and two, when you learn them, you kind of it's like you have to feel it out at first. You don't really know how fast you have to flick your board or how fast it's gonna flick, and you kind of just have to get that whole kick flip flick down, and then the catch is a whole other issue. So I would say just kind of stand still first, and doing stationary backside flips is going to be a lot harder, but in the long run, I think it's going to be a lot easier for you to land them when you're moving, because when you're doing stationary backside flips, you have to like overemphasize your shoulder turn. And that's one of the other big key steps of learning a backside flips, is that your shoulder has to turn so much, just like a backside 180 the entire time. So what I would recommend to you is just learn stationary backside flips. It's going to be a lot less scary. So you just pop it, turn your shoulder the entire time, get a good flick, and then just let the board do its spin in the air the entire time, and then put your feet down. But you got to make sure you just keep your feet bent, your legs bent the entire time, so the board has enough time. Because on a couple of those, if you just kept your legs bent a little longer, you would land that trick, I guarantee it. So yeah, I would just recommend that you try a stationary backside flip. It's going to be a lot easier and a lot less scary. And then yeah, just get a feel for the trick. It's going to take a lot of just practice and repetition. But I think once you start doing it over and over and practicing that flick, that shoulder turn, and that catch over and over and over, you're going to get this trick. So keep practicing and you got this.
Hey Gabe, I just wanted to say you've been doing some great work on the Braille Army channel. Like this is like the classic old Braille, and I really love it. I really hope you get this video because I really need help on this trick, and I've been trying to do it for a while.
Oh boy. Put on autofocus. Hey Gabe. Gab, sorry. My name's Caleb. I'm having a little trouble with my tray flips. I got pretty much every trick, like, until the tray flip down. Some of them need a little work, like a front shove. But like, I think I should do tray flip before 360 shove it, because I feel like it would just work easier and be easier to get. I don't know. But hope you can help me. Thanks. Here's my tricks previously before the tray flip. It might be a little out of focus, sorry about that, but my grip tape is really wet because it's snowing outside and I have to do this in my garage. So hopefully I can land most of the tricks. I'm gonna have to make an exception for nollie and fakie. I know a few nollie, I know quite a bit fakie, but I can't do them because then I have to roll, and this garage isn't the biggest, so. Worst back lady ever, but grip doesn't stick, so I'm gonna take it. Good enough. Grip is not sticky, I'll take it. That was alright, I guess I'll take it. Kickflip first try. I don't think the backside flip's gonna go down, but most of the tricks kind of sketchy. Like I said, grip tape's kind of wet. I had to run outside to get my board. So I guess I'll show you my feet positioning for the tray flip. Okay, so my front foot. Usually have that about right here. I don't know if you can see this, honestly. My back foot, keep it like that, perked on the tail. So I'll spin around, then I can flick, and that does the tray flip motion. So we're gonna see what types of tray flips look like. And sometimes I can get this, like, usually when I get it, it's kind of oddly first try, and I don't really know how that works.
Alright, well thank you very much for the kind words. I think this is the first skateboard ever sent in personally to me, so that actually means a lot, so thank you very much for that. And second, let's check out these tray flips. So we got the slow-mo here. You get a really good scoop. Your scoop is awesome. And then your flip, dude, you got that. That was it. And then, okay, there's some more. Again, your scoop is great. I don't think you have to work on anything with your scoop at all. I think it's just landing it is the thing. That one was really close too. Your front foot just came off the board a little bit. So from what I can see with your tray flips, your scoop is literally perfect. You got that whole mentality down where the scoop is the most important part. Every single time you have to scoop that board as hard as you can. We were actually just teaching Sam Fluharty how to tray flip the other day, and Aaron was emphasizing over and over and over, you need to flick as hard as you can. And eventually, once he got that whole concept down, he was landing it every try. So you pretty much got that down. And I also like your flick too. There were a couple ones where the board kind of flicked a little weird, but once you keep practicing and like just, I would recommend just trying to land the tray flip with one foot. And I know it kind of sounds counterproductive at first, but you have your scoop so well that all you really have to learn right now is the flick. And it looks like you're like 75% there. You just have to do a couple more like practice things just to make sure you get the mechanics of the flick down. So I'd recommend you do that. But basically, I mean, yeah, you're really close to this trick. Those slow-mo clips I showed you, you basically almost landed it. A lot of it with the tray flip is, I know when I was learning them, it was really hard to flick your legs and do that weird scissor kick and then bring them back up bend them, and then put them back on the skateboard. And I knew for me that was extremely difficult, and I had a lot of trouble trying to put that concept into like work. Um, but really, this whole tray flip thing is just a lot and a lot of practice. I remember when I was learning mine, I just had to go in my garage and I would literally sit there for 2 hours just trying tray flips over and over again. And eventually I would just do it. But the one thing you just have to remember is that you just gotta like keep your weight in that back pocket. That's important. Scoop as hard as you can. Just do a little bit of a flick, but I don't really think you have to worry about the flick either, because yours is pretty good. Your tray flips forms are just, they look really good. The only thing you're having trouble with is just actually landing on them. So what I would recommend is that you just try a bunch of different ways that you could bend your legs and bend your knees and bring them back to the board. I know it's going to be really weird at first, and it's going to take a lot of getting used to. But yeah, I just try it over and over and over again. And every time just try something new where you do the scissor kick motion and then bend your knees and bring them back. And then you pretty much just have to find what's comfortable for you. And that's how it is with a lot of skateboarding tricks and just skateboarding in general, is that you have to try tricks that you haven't done before and figure out a way to make them work for you and in a comfortable way. And then once you figure out that comfortable way, you start repeating it. And then that repetition is going to help you learn them over and over again. And then you start doing it more and more, landing it 100 times over and over, 10 times straight, no problem. You get the muscle memory down, and then you're doing the trick over and over. But yeah, like I said, just make sure you keep trying the trick over and over, and then try a couple different methods of landing back on that board, and just commit to it 100%. Don't be afraid. If you're doing a tray flip on flat ground, the worst that can happen is that you'll slip out and fall, and it won't even be that bad. So 100% commit. You got this. Thank you again for the kind words. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.